Jarrod Parry for Boxing Social in association with Empire Fight Sport and Forged Irish Stout. Delighted to be joined here by Spencer Oliver. We're in Cardiff. We're at the press conference. It's fight week. McCaskill Price, a big fight for Lauren Price. First chance at a world title.
Absolutely, listen, and a big homecoming as well for Lauren Price. I'm really pleased for her. You know, you look at her CV and what she's achieved within the sport of boxing. It's great that she gets this opportunity and in front of her home fans. She's buzzing for it. She looks great actually in a moment. Press conference now. McCaskill, we know what she is. You know, very, very tough girl, and it's going to be a good fight. Really looking forward to it.
I mean, it's very much amateur experience against pro experience here. Like obviously, Lauren, Olympic gold medalist, and then when you look at the pro experience of McCaskill, which she's been in with Katie Taylor, Chantal Cameron, Cecilia Breakhouse, you know, it's very much a clash of styles between the amateur and the pro. So how do you think that's going to play out in this fight?
Well, you know what it is. I think that Lauren Price, what she's got to do is she's got to stay disciplined. We know what McCaskill is, and like you say, she's got that experience, and you know she knows how to come through those tough points in a fight. She knows how to turn them around. You know, full two-weight world champion, current welterweight champion. She's a good fighter. Very, very tough. Coming off that draw against Sandy Ryan, you're looking at it going, is she starting to slow down a little bit, or is it just that Sandy Ryan has improved a lot, you know, and gone on? But look, it's an interesting fight. But for Lauren Price, I think it's all about just staying disciplined. I think that she's proved that she can deal with the bigger fighters. You know, in the past she's beaten people like Savannah Marshall. You know, so it's an interesting one. But yeah, I fancy Price in it, if I'm honest. I think discipline's key.
On the undercard, there's a fight here that not many people are talking about, but it's very, very well matched, and it's Rhys Edwards against Thomas Patrick Ward. A massive step up for Rhys Edwards, but the perfect time in his career, would you say?
Yeah, it's a big gamble, to be fair, because Thomas Ward's a good fighter. You know, a very, very good fighter. You know, former WBA world #1, former British champion, and you know, it's going to tell us more about Rhys Edwards and where he's at. It's a calculated gamble. And yeah, let's see if it pays off. I hope it does. I think, you know, he's a great fighter, Rhys Edwards, and it's all about timing. And him and his team feel that they've got the timing on that one. But that could be fight of the night.
Going to move on now to, well, we've got a big schedule really with boxer at the minute. Next up, we got Lawrence Okolie looking for a two-weight world champion at the Bridgerweight division. How can you see that one going now he's linked up with Joe Gallagher?
Do you know what? It's going to be interesting, isn't it, with Joe Gallagher? Because I think it's all about the mindset of Lawrence Okolie, and I think that he was struggling a lot when he lost his belts to Chris Billam-Smith. I think weight played a big part of that. Punch resistance seemed to have gone. He looked very fragile at times in that fight, and I think that was down to making weight. He's huge for a cruiserweight, so I think the step up was the obvious move. And against Lucas Rosansky's a tough guy. You know, he's very, very crude. He'll come forward. He just slings everything at a fight, and so he's going to have to stay focused as well, switched on. But let's see if Joe Gallagher has installed that confidence, that self-belief that is needed for Lawrence Okolie. So look, it's a gamble going in with someone against Rosansky in his backyard, coming off the loss. But they know what they're doing. You know, Lawrence, I think, will be better at Bridgerweight, and I'm looking forward to seeing how he performs at that weight.
You mentioned another name there, Chris Billam-Smith. He's the next instalment on the schedule after that, rematching Richard Riakporhe, going into enemy territory as well, going into Selhurst Park, first boxing event there for years. You know, that's a big rematch, you know, and it's been a lot of time has passed and a lot has changed since then. You know, obviously Riakporhe came out on top in that first fight, and now all of a sudden Chris Billam-Smith's the one bringing the world title. Just assess that fight for us.
Do you know what? It's a great fight. I mean, go back to 2019 when they both first boxed. You know, it was a really close fight. Riakporhe won it on a split decision, and he was the rightful winner as well. And they've both gone on their great careers since then. I think Richard Riakporhe's 7 unbeaten since then, Chris Billam-Smith's 10 unbeaten since then, but obviously different paths. Riakporhe's got himself into that mandatory position, and Billam-Smith's picked up that world title. Billam-Smith's had the tougher route though, and he's had the tougher fights. And you saw against Masternak last time out, there were times in that fight you think, wow, he's really biting down on his gum shield. But what he does do, Chris Billam-Smith, and what he does do so well is he can weather a storm and come for a bad time. And when things ain't going his way, he can stay in there, he can hang in there, and he can turn things around. That's what champions do. You know, he's got that champion's mindset. I think Riakporhe will go in probably the fresher of the two. With Richard Riakporhe, since their last fight, you can see there's more self-belief, and I think that is important. going into it. Riakporhe for me will start a slight favourite, but it's going to be a barnstorm. When the first one was, and I believe this one will as well.
Stepping away now from the schedule, we're going to talk about one of the headlines in boxing. It's Ryan Garcia. Obviously, he beat Devin Haney in a very bizarre build-up, with a lot of people questioning should the fight go ahead. Since the fight has come about that he's failed 2 drugs tests for Osterine. There was another test for another banned substance, but that's been proved, not confirmed that was in his system.
Yeah.
But now they still talk. He's requested the B sample of the Osterine tests.
Yeah.
Just to take on that really, and what it's done really for the sport.
Look, it's massively disappointing, isn't it, when you see, when you see fighters failing tests and whatnot. And I think that didn't they get another sample back that was sort of different to the first one, different adverse findings in it or whatever. But look, the facts are the facts. If he failed the test, he's failed the test. And disappointing, man. I hate drug cheats within the sport of boxing. It's a sport where people get injured, people even die. It's a tough sport, a blood sport, and we want a level playing field. It can be brutal at times, and people taking performance-enhancing drugs don't like it, and I think there should be life bans for them. I'm strong on that, but let's see how this plays out now. He's got to, there's a process that has to go ahead now, and we'll see how that plays out.
I want to touch on another headline. Turkey Al-Sheikh is talking about bringing a UK card to Wembley Stadium September 21st. It looks like Anthony Joshua could be the headline and potentially in a world title fight against the winner of Hrgovic-Dubois. What's your thoughts on all of that?
Yeah, I think that Hrgovic-Dubois will be for the vacant IBF title in June the 1st. Once the undisputed happens, I think a couple of them titles become vacant straight away. Hrgovic-Dubois will fight for the vacant title, and the winner of that, I believe, will fight Anthony Joshua at Wembley Stadium for that IBF belt. Looking forward to it. It'll be great to see Anthony Joshua fighting, trying to become a 3-time world champion, and I think that's always been a dream of his, and he'll get that opportunity in September. But it'd be a great fight, wouldn't it, if we get Daniel Dubois come through, Anthony Joshua, Wembley Stadium, IBF World Heavyweight title. Historic moment. I'd love that.
Do you think that could be the key to potentially, obviously a lot of things have to add up, but you've got Fury and Joshua. Do you think that could potentially be the key to that fight?
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, I think that's. Listen, you've got the Fury Usyk fight going on. Then you'll have the return in sort of October time. I think they're talking about the return will happen. Then you could see if Anthony Joshua boxes the winner of Hrgovic versus Dubois, Wembley, September. You could possibly get Anthony Joshua. I think this is what Turkey Al-Sheikh is planning anyway. You could get Anthony Joshua versus Tyson Fury early 2025. I think that is the roadmap for the heavyweights at the moment.
A final one then, and it's a fight that's caused a lot of controversy. It's been announced that Jake Paul versus Mike Tyson is going to be a sanctioned professional bout. When I spoke to you at the launch press conference for this fight, we spoke about that, and you were like, as long as they've got head guards or it's an exhibition, if that's not the case, what's your thoughts since on the update?
I don't like it, mate, if I'm totally honest. This is a young man's sport. Mike Tyson's 58 years of age, and he's not lived the best life. He's retired, 20 years ago, his last fight against Kevin McBride, and he was a shell of his former self then. We saw how upset he was after that fight, saying the fight had left him, it was over. There's going to be nothing different going in different here. Mike Tyson is an icon, man. He's a name that's going to be around forever. Don't want to see him going into fights like this, real sanction fights like that. Imagine if he loses to Jake Paul. What a shame that will be. Do you know what I mean? We're talking about legacies here and all that. You go, that's a sad story for me. So yeah, I'm gutted that it's sanctioned for a real fight.
And last one on that, the undercard, they've just announced as a chief support is going to be Katie Taylor against Amanda Serrano. It's a bit of a shock to people seeing them two fighters of that magnitude on the undercard. What's your thoughts on all that?
Well, it sort of gives a bit of credibility to the card anyway, doesn't it? Because that's a serious fight, a great fight. Probably the best fight in women's boxing right now. And we saw it before, and we saw how good that was. That was one of the best fights actually at Madison Square Garden's ever had. You looked at that, them girls punched themselves to a standstill. The courage, the guts, the heart, the grit, the determination that they showed was incredible. And let's do it again, man. Let's see it again. I'm well pleased about that.
Brilliant. Thank you very much for your time, Spencer. I'm sure we'll catch up in the week.